I'm just being honest. I think people will be in the comments and be like, "Oh, I could cut just faster and it's square every time." I'm like, "Square every time? Like, what am I doing? Are my eyes just crooked because I'm not cutting that copper super square every time?"
They call me Meyerbox Mickelson.
Gas prices.
Gas.
Up and down.
I don't have gas. Do you have gas?
I pretty much always have gas. I just asked my wife.
That's right.
You know who's got gas? My brother-in-law. Oh, I just swore. I'm sorry.
Oh, geez.
I've been so good. Like probably like 100 episodes since the last time I swore.
At least on recording.
You know who lets me know that I swore or we're about to? Your wife. She's always telling me. Yep. She texts me just random. She's like, "I heard it." You heard what? So you were about to say this, and I'm like, "You do listen." That's what I tell her.
She does sometimes. I don't know. She listens more than she says she does.
Yeah, no, she calls me out. Remember, because what was it? Months since she had listened, and then I'm talking about her eating habits. Yes. Oh gosh, it's not her fault. It's me. It's like insert open mouth, insert foot. So anyway, I don't know if you saw a recent video I posted. 2 videos actually, and they're getting a lot of attention because it's a tool that has been long awaiting. You know what I didn't say? And I always say it. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Make Trades Great Again podcast. I think people know that. They're listening to the podcast. Like, they know who we are, right?
I'd like to think so.
Yeah. Yeah, Juan and Carlos.
Juan, yeah.
That's our names.
This one, and that one.
This one. Is this getting...
I don't know.
Too close to inappropriate?
I don't know.
Anyway, new tool, couple videos. People are getting a little excited because it's kind of a long time coming. And you know what I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, your M12 tubing cutters? That's what you're talking about? Okay.
I'm glad you actually said it and not just like, uh-huh. That makes for a great podcast. Uh-huh. Yeah, I know which one. Yeah. Okay, thanks. Why don't I say which one it is, Andy?
You sure do.
No, the M12 tubing, M12 brushless tubing cutter. They didn't put fuel on the side of that thing. Some people said that right away, but I was like, oh, I guess I didn't even notice. But this thing cuts up to 2-inch copper, and the reason I bring it up today with you, because I haven't talked to you about it at all.
No, I
got a lot of messages asking, like, actually, like, would you, because people know that Milwaukee sent it to me, right?
Right.
That's just what they do with certain people. Like
that's how you get your product out.
Yeah, it's how you look. It's 2024. Yeah. They've been doing this for a little while. They know what they're doing. They send out tools to people, and those people talk about them on their social medias, right? Or just other people on the job. I mean, that's how they sell a lot of tools that way. I hope it's not a mystery to anybody. It's not new. I mean, think about the Gatorade on the side of the football field, right?
Right.
That's how they do it. That's how they sell Gatorade. The tubing cutter, getting messages. Would you buy it? What do you think of it? And I'll tell you, but then I want to ask you what you think of it. So it's big. It's a lot bigger than the original, but keep in mind too, I mean, if you're going to pull a 15,000 pound trailer, you're probably not going to do it with your, 87 T1000 Toyota, right? Or whatever, T100, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're probably going to get an F350. Right?
Sure.
Okay. And one truck is significantly larger than the other.
Correct.
Okay. I mean, I don't think it's necessary to point this out, but apparently I do think it's necessary that if you're going to cut 2-inch pipe, the tool to do that might be larger than the tool that can cut 1-inch pipe. Okay. Yep. So there we go. And the one that can cut 1-inch pipe can't cut 2-inch, right? So does it need to be as large? Yeah. Okay. I don't know why I feel like I got to get that out of there, but I guess it's because there's probably a dozen comments saying it's so big. Why does it have to be so big? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, logic. That's why.
Yeah, your 2-inch copper tubing cutter is significantly larger than your 1-inch copper tubing cutter.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Just I mean, I saw it and I thought the same. I thought had the similar thought, like, "Ooh, that's a lot bigger." But then I was like, "What do I care?" I mean, that's it. If you're close quarters cutting, maybe it's not the tool for you.
Well, to
right?
be honest with you, it's probably takes up less space. If your pipe is perpendicular to you up
Sure.
against a wall.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess that's a stupid way to set that up. Every tubing cutter is perpendicular to the pipe, no matter what. Think of it being up next to a wall, and then think of that nice reed cutter that I've got that will do 2-inch. It's like the imp style cutter.
Yeah.
That takes up more space, I think, than this does.
Probably. You're talking like the one that's kind of hinged.
Yeah, like articulating almost. Yep. Yeah. Yep. A great cutter. Awesome. Yeah. And probably, as far as I know, the only one that does what it does.
Right.
But this thing is big. And people are trying to say, well, but there was one good comment though that came from it, because it's got a skinny handles like the same as before, maybe even a little more, maybe smaller diameter, just slightly. I don't know. Maybe it's just like the grip feels different or something, right? The shape of it. But somebody's like, oh, skipped leg day because it's got the big, huge head on it. Like the end of it's just giant. And then it's got this teeny tiny little handle. And it's like, oh, I bet I wish it wouldn't have skipped leg day or something like that. I'm like, oh my God.
That's beautiful.
Hilarious. It was. I laughed. I think I probably spit out my coffee when I read that one.
Yeah. I saw it and I was like, it was right around when that's been out 3 weeks now.
Well, I just got the tool in my hands. The first video I posted is when they announced it.
Right.
Yeah, probably 3 weeks ago. Yep.
Well, and so that was right around April 1st.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Is this a palm tubing expander?
Yeah. Oh, come on. You mean my photoshopped tubing expander? The palm nailer?
Palm nailer, yeah. And I was like, seriously, because I saw yours, mine was your press release first. And I just was like laughing. I was going,
and it's just photos too, right?
So no, and I'm like looking at the date. I'm like, no, it's like April 10th. Like this doesn't make it. No.
I know. It was. It was funny because I got a bunch of people asking me like, is this real? And I'm like, no, it's actually real as far as I know. I mean, I don't have it in my hand yet. So I was like, actually for like the first time I was going to probably have one before it was announced so that I could make some videos for it, but that didn't work out. Yeah. And that's not a normal thing, that they've never even promised that before this time, but it just didn't work anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, these things arrived in our hands, like the people they sent them out to, I think honestly, like straight from the factory wherever it was made, China, Vietnam, I don't know. They make tools all over the world. Milwaukee does, and as does literally every other company in the world. But these things were supposed to arrive, I think, about a month ago or something like that, or a few weeks back, and kind of when they announced, that's when they were supposed to be available, but apparently they were stuck on
something delayed.
Yep.
Yeah, happens.
So my question to you, I'm sure you could buy this thing with a battery and a charger, but the one they sent me was bare tool, which is fine because I have plenty of M12 tools. I love the M12 platform. I'm not saying this because Milwaukee gave me the tool. Like, it's a great, there's a few tools on the M12 platform that are fantastic. And I use them often.
Yep.
One of them, I think, I'm not, I guess, as harsh on the OG tubing cutter. Some people hate it. I think it's fantastic, personally. We
have one on every vehicle, and you know what? I guess what I would say with that that cutter is it's not without some, I guess, design. I don't want to call it a design flaw. Yeah, right. It's not perfect, but on that same note, it works like when you first get that and you pop it out of the box and you run it. It's like, wow, this is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Right. And it didn't take any effort on your part other than holding the thing straight and pulling the trigger.
Keep your fingers out of it.
Yeah. Keep your fingers out of it. And And the biggest thing I think that what we've found with ours is that when you use it, if you're cutting something that's got water in it, stand the thing up while you're done. Don't lay it down. Stand it. If you can lean it up against something, get that stuff to drain out. And then when you're done with it, hose it down with a little fluid film or WD-40 or something. Yeah. And it'll keep going. That's, I think, what gets most of them is people are like, oh, whatever. And then you throw it in a bucket and it's just gross. So
a lot of people in the comments saying, "Oh, mine died." Look, the early models were like you couldn't even like get them near water, which sounds completely insane. They've improved that a ton.
Yep.
I know that because I had an early model, was my first one.
Yeah.
It died when it got wet, admittedly. They did some redesign, addressed the issue that everybody was having, and just said, hey, look, it's not like waterproof, and they're not stupid. They're not going to say it is.
Right.
Most tools, by the way, will stop working if you get them wet. People think it should be an exception to the, industry. This one tool should be able to get wet.
Right.
Look, I'm not going to argue against that. If it were waterproof, it'd be friggin' great. But the fact is, like you said, stand it upright. Kevin Saunders, remember Kevin?
Right.
He was on the podcast a while ago, but he's the one that told me that like years ago. He's like, "Oh, just stand the thing up on its nose and it'll be fine. Like 10 minutes, it'll like it never got wet."
Yep. I mean, maybe that's where I heard that from. Was standing it up.
I just remember it being him for some reason in my head. It probably wasn't even him. I'm probably just crediting him and making him look good, better than he is. No.
Well, he's a good looking fella.
I don't know. So my question to you about the big one, the big dog, the new one. It's big. It takes a minute to get used to. It's different. It has like a electronic, reset button and like instead of the toggle switch down by the trigger. And I'll be honest with you, it almost takes like two hands to operate this. Like maybe it's just my current hand situation with my, still healing from my surgeries and stuff, but I felt like I had to reach over with my left hand to push the button because it's freaking big, dude. The end of it's kind of heavy, and I'm sure some people won't have that issue, and I think hopefully mine's just temporary. But so anyway, it felt like I almost had to like reach over and push the button with my left hand, or maybe I'm just not coordinated enough. I literally have cut like 8 pieces of pipe with it, so I'll use it today though. It's $399. That's what I was getting at. So they're selling at Bear Tool. I'm sure you could probably get it with a battery and a charger, but at Bear Tool, it's $400.
Yeah.
Without any promos or anything. And you know how Milwaukee is. They'll slap this thing will sit on the shelf. It won't move very many of them right away. And then they'll be like, buy this and we'll give you the old one for free or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yep. At $399, I would say I would be like,
That's what I thought. No, it's totally cool. I mean, I respect that. Yep.
I guess part of that is that I'm so apt to, like if I've got a handful of joints to make, that copper cutter's coming off the van and we're going to use it. Right.
I think I grab it pretty much if I'm going to cut copper. You know what I mean? Like
I have gone
a couple cuts for a water heater replacement. I'm like, I grab it.
Yeah. I've gone more down the road of like, if we're going to go in and press a bunch of stuff, I'm grabbing my bandsaw. I got my my M12 fuel bandsaw, and I recognize the I guess the complaints or the issues that tool has as well is in the power, the what do they call it, the anti-torque,
the
stuck mode, whatever. Yeah. And whatever, I'm over it. That to me is a faster way to cut, copper with less end prep after.
I feel like there's way more prep when you cut it with a bandsaw.
Yeah. I've got one of the rigid, inside outside reamers and just pop and quarter turn, and you got all the burrs are off of both sides, and it's ready to be pressed. So that, I don't know. It's 6 to 1. I don't dislike the copper cutter.
No. And I'm not on you. I use a bandsaw. I've used a bandsaw it got to be my entire career. I mean, no doubt.
Yep.
Long before there was battery bandsaws, that's for sure.
It seems to me that in most cases, like when I'm walking into the job, you know, like let's say we're going to go replace 6 zone valves or a couple of zone valves or something. If I'm looking at it, I'm like, what do I need to get? You know, that tubing cutter might be a really good option, but if I got to cut close to a fitting, then I got to get the bandsaw anyway. You know, if I got to cut a piece of all thread, I got to get the bandsaw. If I got to cut a piece of strut, I got to get the bandsaw, you know? So it's like, it's almost like that. Well, if I just bring this, then I can do all these other things too.
I hear you. So, I think people are going to like this. This is my prediction.
Yeah.
I think people are going to like it if they can get past the price, put it that way. I think it's going to be, I would personally rather cut 1.5 and 2-inch copper with a tubing cutter than a bandsaw, even though I know a bandsaw's fast. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess up any press fitting, no matter the size, but I don't want to mess up an 1.5 90 or an 1.5 T.
No, I agree.
You know, what's an 1.5 T? 40, 50 bucks?
50 bucks, yeah.
Yeah.
Half an hour.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not likely that I'm going to mess it up anyway, but I bet you if I cut copper 100 times with a bandsaw, let's say 1.25 inch, because that's what I cut my 1.25 inch copper with almost all the time, right?
Yeah.
Up until now. If I cut 100 cuts, I'll bet you that when they're true, like you could truly call it square and like a good cut, there's probably less of those than not.
I would agree.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just being honest. I think people will be in the comments and be like, I could cut just faster and it's square every time. I'm like, square every time? Like, what am I doing? Are my eyes just crooked? Because I'm not cutting that copper super square every time.
They call me Meyerbox Mickelson.
That's going to be the soundbite right there. Miterbox Mickelson. No, look, I'm just being honest. I'm not even trying to push this cutter. I think I think it's exciting to see a new tool that people have been asking for. And that's just the thing. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
People have been asking for this for freaking years. And now I think some people are like, $400. Look, I don't, I'm sure Milwaukee thought that that's the right price for a reason.
I mean, and here's the deal. At first look, you go, I can't even tell you how many times I've spent $400 on something that's absolute trash and not used. I mean, there's been a bunch of them in since I've been in business anyway, where I've been like, oh, geez, I should have not bought that.
You know what I love? The tool I love, and I wish there was a different version of it. I use it, but not as I use it. Not as much as I thought I would. It's so nice though. It's that cromping tongs for the thread, for a threaded rod.
Yep.
It goes in your press tool.
Yep.
By Rems.
Yep.
Flawless cut, like no matter what. But I have to use my full size tool, which I'm not always using. But I guess when I'm using rod, it's more likely I'll have my full size tool. So I don't know.
Yep. I did just buy.
Put it this way. Go ahead.
I was just say I just bought the 18 volt Milwaukee rod cutter. Is the one I ended up.
Oh, the the standalone cutter.
Yep. And I do. I mean, it's going to live on the trailer. And it's, I mean, for what it does, it's super fast and
that's what exactly.
It's clean.
Yep.
It
seems like when there's a specialized tool for the job, that tool does a better job than the universal kind of tool, right?
Yeah. Well, and one of the, I guess I was torn because I used, when we were at Rems, I used the cropping tongs a couple of times. I was like, these are super nice. I mean, these are really nice. Looked at a couple of the other brands that are out there and kept going back to the same thing. I'm like, well, I need one. It'd be really cool to have one for 3/8, right? That's the primary, but it'd kind of be nice to have one for 1/2 inch too. And, well, 1/4 inch, we don't really get into that much 1/4 inch rod, but it might happen, and the Milwaukee one does all three.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, that's an easy win. I mean, price point, it's about the same as buying, I don't know, a set and a half of Jaws.
It's pretty expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what it was. $300, $350, something like that. That might even be more than that.
I got you. Half-inch. Okay.
Gotcha. By the time you buy a set of 1/2 inch and 3/8 cropping tongs, it's probably a wash.
Yeah. The thing for me was, like I said, I don't use it as much as I thought I would. And it has more to do with me bringing the large tool in and out of jobs because I'm using the compact tool mostly.
Yep. I agree.
People ask me all the time too, like what tool should I buy when it comes to press tool? Like they're going to buy their first one. And to me, it's a little more, it's an easier decision to me than it is for other people because I've owned press tools for like battery press tools over a decade. And I've bought many of them. Some of them have been given to me, so I've been able to try new ones and stuff. But my first handful, I bought myself, so I know what it means to spend a couple $1,000 on your first battery tool, or first time you spend a couple $1,000 on a battery tool, right?
Right.
And I look at it and I'm like, unless you have to do 1.5 inches, like on a regular basis, I can't see buying the full size tool. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah. There's enough of a price difference, over $1,000. So it's almost like $1,500 difference.
Right.
And unless you're going to do the large pipe, like on a regular basis, these 12-volt press tools are they're just awesome. They're just so small and easy. And I'm all about like, what is the easiest thing for my body to have to deal with?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that goes back to, I bring it up because it goes back to like the cropping tongs, the jaws that go in your press tool that'll cut threaded rod.
Right.
I just wish they made one for a 12-volt tool. And when they do, you can bet I will be happy to leave my bandsaw in the van and just have that in my case, my press case, and just swap. I don't care if I got to swap jaws out. Like, when I'm doing rod, I feel like I do a whole bunch of rod at one time, or at least a couple cuts, so I don't need I wouldn't have to swap back and forth a whole bunch of times. I just do a few.
Yep.
I don't know. That's probably how most people use rod, right?
Well, and that's weird because I bet, if you look at it, so I think everybody knows we don't get into like a whole bunch of commercial trapeze pipe work, right?
No.
Like that's just not what we're doing.
Yep.
Right. Yep. So that's like when people are, a lot of guys are like, hey, geez, what do you mean you don't cut rod or you don't use rod that often? We don't. Right. I mean, it's for it. It's a random
service and repair replacement. It's first of all, so we're not doing.
I might put a couple loop hangers in, but it's a couple here or there. It's whatever. And where we've been using more rod recently is with split rings.
Yeah, standoffs.
And so you need, I need 6 4-inch long pieces of rod. Clip, clip, clip. Then that's where that Milwaukee one comes in because it's literally chunk,
same as the tongs too. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, this is so cool. I don't have to, there's no end prep.
No.
Right? Like it's
never.
just ready.
Well, and then you get the people that are like, well, I could cut 16 of them with my bands on. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I'm not going to grab a bundle of rod to cut the 4 pieces I need for the next hour. Right. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I can remember those days.
Well, but even just in the comments, I don't want to even get into it, but that's what my head, I'm like, well, I'm not cutting 16 rods.
Yeah.
I might not even cut 16 for the job.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, I don't need to cut them all at the same time. That's just the way it is.
When you were doing new construction, let's say during your apprenticeship or before you worked for yourself.
Yeah.
Did you guys have, did the companies you work for, did they have like these like steel benches with a abrasive saw on them for like cutting like a rod saw? And
I had a foreman that if you went to his job, like I'd get pulled onto his job often to like help catch some stuff up, or they had an overnight or something. And I was constantly getting like as much overnight as I could because it was double time.
Yeah.
If you went to this one guy, Kurt was his name. If you went to Kurt's jobs, he had a miter, not a miter, a cutoff saw, like you're saying.
Yeah.
And then he also had, He also had the old Black & Decker rotary hammers that weren't the SDS. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
The ones that would literally spin
Just-
you around in a circle.
Right, and like break your elbow.
Oh, yeah. You're lucky if it's your elbow. Because the wrist would at least get torqued every time you touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So chop saw.
Chop saw. We used to have
Cutting
these
rod, by the way.
really like cutting
things
rod,
are
cutting cast iron.
Yeah.
You know, so they were built out of like 2x8 steel studs, right? So they were like this 10 feet long.
So you
Yeah,
can
it's a
lay
bench.
stuff on it.
Had legs on it and wheels on one end. I mean, the shop
Super
fabric.
inefficient. Be like,
Yeah.
we're gonna pull this thing out here. Hold on, we got to get the stake truck out to the job.
Well, so you'd mobilize that thing. That'd be first piece of equipment on the job. Like, right? You know, if we're doing underground, you're cutting all your PVC on it. Somebody's
my
over there
God.
burning PVC off or
That's
whatever.
just-
And
that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's
But
ridiculous.
when
I'd
it come-
laugh if you brought that up. I'd be
Right.
like, no.
so I remember though grabbing, you said bundles of rod and I forgot about that. I remember grabbing, getting a bundle of rod and you'd line up, let's say we're going to make 5 hangers and you'd shorten the end, the tails of them, right? All by 1/4 of an inch or not 3/4, 3/8 of an inch.
Yeah, I know.
Because you get your
So you
1/8
get
of an
your
inch to the
pitch.
foot.
Yeah.
Right. And then you bust them all off and then you grab the next one and okay, the next set of 5 is this, five hangers down.
Yeah.
And you'd make all your rods. Oh, yeah,
They'd
this
all
one
be
looks-
off by an inch anyway.
Oh, they were all.
Every one of them.
Oh, well, geez, Jim, you set the anchors deep enough.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, bling the anchor guy. Not the guy who just cut 12 pieces of fucking rod at one time, like a total chump.
with an abrasive, like basically melted the ends off.
Yeah.
Because
You
and
just
then
saved
you had to
yourself
take
a whole bunch of time by now you're adjusting every friggin' clevis hanger, every 12-inch clevis hanger, while you're standing on a lift. That's
then
that's real efficient.
you got to fire up that saw.
Oh my gosh,
get it up to
fire
speed, and then you'd burn the burr off on the side of the blade.
Meanwhile, every trade on site's like those frickin' plumbers.
Oh my
and
god!
that cutoff saw. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Oh,
There's just
my God.
dirt and plastic and just
You bring up the cast iron cutting no hub. I had a different foreman, Ron. If he saw you go near a piece of pipe with a saw and not a snapper, he would just he didn't like you. And you didn't want Ron to not like you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We used to
Nice
do
guy,
all
but
1.5 and 2 inch. That was the only thing you cut on the cutoff saw.
he wouldn't allow it. He's like his whole thing was the noise and the dust and the dirt. And he's like, no way, we're not putting up with that. And he's like, just snap it. He's like, a snapper's worked for 1,000,000 years since they invented the pipe. Why can't you snap it? And so you just learned how to snap things efficiently.
Yeah,
Speaking of snappers, do you have that no hub snapper for your press tool?
I do. I haven't used it yet.
You haven't used it yet?
No, we had this whole job lined up. We're gonna go do this job, and I bought that and that rod cutter for it.
Yeah.
And
that's right. The job.
Yeah,
with
it was
the
a hospital
backbench
project.
or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep,
You didn't
and we
get
were
it?
all geared up to do it, and they approved it. Yep, okay, we're gonna go for it. We're gonna go for it. And I had told them early on, I'm like, I'm pricing this as though we're doing it during normal hours. So just so you know, because I don't know if whatever. And they're like, oh yeah, no problem. We'll do it on a Friday. It's no big deal. They'll whatever.
Yeah, people don't get sick on Fridays.
Right.
You can totally do it on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody even needs to use a hospital on a Friday.
And so then they came back and they're like, well, you guys need to do it on a Saturday or a Sunday.
Oh,
or a
why?
holiday. And
Why?
I'm like,
Because we said it was going to be during the week.
right. And I was like, okay, well, I didn't price it that way. I'm happy to, I can give you a price to do it that way. And I don't remember what it was. I was like, I don't know. It's going to be a bigger pain in the butt because we're not going to have any parts available. I'm going to have to order a whole bunch more stuff to have on hand.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be Saturday. And I don't stock any cast iron fittings or no hub stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
what?
it's right. And so I don't know. I think I threw like $3,000 on it. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have all 3 guys there on a Saturday.
Material or labor too?
Additional material, labor. I'm like, I don't know, put $3,000 on it. And they were just like, nope. we're not doing it. We're gonna find somebody else. And I was like, okay,
Well, but that's the difference, though.
that's right. Right.
And
so
the other company, when you tell them it's a Saturday, their price will be near mine and not any cheaper.
It went back and forth two directions. And then the other thing was, at that point in time, it was, I don't know what was going on. It was right around spring break, and we had time off. I think Rob had some time off. Miles had some time off, and it was till like right now. Right, it would have been 5 or 6 weeks ago that we were talking about it, and it would have been just like this coming weekend where we would have had enough guys in town, not on vacation, to do the job. And then they were like, "What do you mean it's going to be 6 weeks?" And I'm like, "Well, it's going to be 6 weeks. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's springtime. Everybody's got time off.
Saturdays are scheduled by them 6 weeks ahead of time, so."
Right.
Like I have to ask them if they can work for me on a Saturday.
Right.
It's not automatic.
Or if they're interested. Yeah. So it just, like I say, at this point now I'm just kind of like, you know what? It didn't happen. No sweat off my back. We found some other stuff to do, and I've got a snap cutter. I'm excited. I want to use it.
I don't want to. I don't like working on No Hub. Nope.
I don't really either. But
it's always,
if I'm going to
it being really dirty. Like like the black boogers, that kind of thing. And I'm like, why do we want to work with this stuff? Anyway, all right, better than pouring lead, which I have done.
Oh man,
okay, dude.
Hey, I got one for you here.
Yeah,
let's try this. I'm gonna screen share.
Wait, what?
Oh, what?
We're screen sharing for those watching on YouTube. This might make it. Might not make it. We don't even know. This is a first time ever for the MTGA. What are you showing me?
Mac is like, oh, are you sure? No.
Are you sure you want to do this? Is this?
No, I can't do it. It's wanting me to restart. Oh, this is stupid. Sorry, guys.
What did you want to share?
Lame.
Can I share?
No. Well, I don't know if you can or not. I picked up. I've been looking for one of these for a long time, and it's not super significant.
Oh boy!
However,
is this a 18-foot long 2-inch belt drive sander?
No.
Okay.
No, it's Wiha.
Wiha.
It is a 10-piece Magic Ring ball power bit pack, right?
Bit pack, so not the hex key set.
Right, not a hex key set. I am kind of in this phase where I like to have a nice screwdriver handle. And maybe a couple of extensions if I need them.
You're in your screwdriver phase.
I'm in my screwdriver phase. Anyway,
you turn 45, that's what happens.
Part number on this baby, 74 something.
You can get a discount if you use my code.
You can
save money. Do you use that when you buy?
I do. Them? Heck yeah.
You should.
So 74999. What's cool about this thing is it is. What are the sizes here? 1/8, 9/64, 5/32, 3/16, 7/64 or 7/32, 1/4 inch.
You're just naming numbers now. You're just saying numbers.
No. But here's the cool thing, and 3, 4, 5, and 6 millimeter. So it's metric and SAE in one little pack. They're 2-inch long bits for doing like boiler services. And they're ball end with the bit holding feature.
What? This sounds way cool. Hold on. What's the part number? I'm looking at it.
74999 3 9s.
Yeah. Oh, I'm getting pop-ups here. 10-piece Magic Ring ball power bit belt pack set. Jeez, give it a longer name.
It's I know it's got a long name.
It does.
But
it ain't cheap they've worked either.
No, it's not cheap, but you won't find anybody else that makes a set of 2-inch ball end bits.
No,
they don't exist.
You're right. These are very interesting,
and they're really nice because they're Wiha, and it's like the common sizes.
They make some of the best bits, in my opinion. They're Terminator bits. I think that's what they're called, right? They're just the regular drive bits.
Yep.
Seriously, hands down, very good bits.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to try to do a screen.
Okay, try it. It popped mine up and said I had to give permission.
Screen.
And then it wanted me to restart.
Open system settings. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, you're in the same boat. And then it's once you do that and you say, okay, yeah, go ahead, then it's going to tell you to restart Riverside.
Hold on.
It's dumb.
It's just asking me for passwords.
I want that right too.
Hold on. That's not the right password.
Maybe.
Okay. Oh, quit and reopen.
Meow.
Okay, we're going to work on this later.
Yeah, because it would be cool to screen share then.
It would be cool to screen share this. Yeah, that's expensive though. I'm not gonna
lie. So yes, it is. I bought a couple of things. The second one, I'll give you here. I'll give everybody my tidbit of my most recent shopping experience.
Andy likes a little retail therapy. Everybody,
a little retail therapy.
I don't blame you though.
Yep. And this one I haven't used as much. It's Wiha. This go around.
Oh boy, I'm not. I wrap my mind around the Wiha stuff. Sometimes I have a hard time.
This goes down the line of I needed the screwdriver bit handles, and so this has got a really long part number. Tell me when you're ready.
I'm not ready. I don't want all these cookies.
I know. You're going to get
the required. Okay, now
I'm going to get fat off all the cookies that I have to accept.
I already am.
Jesus.
What's the number?
Okay, 0502 34 61 001. Forever.
How about a longer part number? The T-handle bit holding screwdriver with ratchet function.
That's kind of cool, huh?
Nope. Can't do it. No. Not gonna like it. I'm not gonna even. I'm happy you like it. I do.
Yeah.
This is not me hating on Wiha. Here's my whole thing with Wiha. I've had so many Wiha tools, and I want them to be nice. You know what I think are nice are their wrenches, and their sockets and ratchets are nice. I don't like their screwdrivers, and I'll tell you what. Their hex keys are very nice.
Yep.
I do not like T-handle anything. I'm just not a fan. Not a fan.
Well, so this is where this whole thing came down to is I was like, so I'm working on these boilers and I'm like, I need a little bit more torque. I'm tired of, putting a screwdriver bit in there. I don't have the right size Allen key. Like it just, something's wrong about it most of the time.
Yeah.
It's too long, too short, whatever. So that's where I was like, well, if I can get everything 2-inch and under, then I can put that 2-inch bit in my tool check ratchet or whatever, and then build what I need. So this came into it, and it's been pretty decent. The ratchet functions a little, I don't know. It ratchets really nicely. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
It's got a 4.5 degree fine tooth. Like that's impressive.
It's pretty impressive on that end of it.
But
it's also
you mean, like
not
switching
cheap.
it back and forth is
Okay,
so that's are you admitting that part sucks, or is it just like you wish it were better, or what?
I've not had one single issue with it.
Oh, okay. Well, it's the way you started, it almost sounded like you didn't.
It looks, when you look at it, you're like, really? This little plastic thing? And it's whatever. I mean, you're not going to apply any torque to it. It's like recessed in the handle, so it's not. Yeah. If you had gloves on, I could see where this could be annoying if you were switching back and forth.
So here's the deal. I sent you one a while ago. I don't think you like it, and that's fine. But remember that Chinese collaboration with Wiha? So it was like some Chinese tool manufacturer that does like nice tools, I guess, that we don't know about. They just don't sell them here. And then they worked with Wiha, and they made this all black ratcheting screwdriver with the multiple bits in the handle. Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. I still to this day use that thing constantly. I've replaced all the bits because eventually they just go away, right?
Yeah.
They're just the little 1-inch bits.
Yep.
But slim handle, nice ratchet, nice handle to hold on to. Everything about it.
Yep.
That's my go-to. And then I love purpose I love specific screwdrivers. Like if I want a nice flat blade screwdriver, number 2 with a 8-inch or 10-inch long blade, you know what I mean? Like that's what I want. I don't need it to be a ratcheting all the time. Like,
right.
So I do have it's funny because in my bag is my ratcheting screwdriver, which I probably grab more than anything else. Right. My second most popular tool in my bag for screwdrivers is my, number 2 Phillips, Wiha, you know what I mean?
8-inch.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. That is the nicest screwdriver. I will argue and fight anyone with that screwdriver. It's
so nice.
That is the best number 2 screwdriver on the market.
Absolutely. I've had it stand. I've put it in the head of a screw and let perpendicular, like on the wall, and let go of it. And it just stays
drywall
there.
Screw.
Yeah, it just stays there. I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But the T-handle stuff, I tried so hard to like a T-handle because I would, I wanted them for like, swapping
blower
pump
motors
around, flipping the pump head around and stuff like that. Yep. And it's just not my thing. So I did with the pump head thing is I put the little number 4 hex bit in my multi-bit ratchet and screwdriver. And I'm like, oh, well, there you go. Just solved all my problems. But anyway, I get it. You do you. Even if it's weird, Andy, even if it's weird, it's fine.
Hey, weird's okay.
We're at 40 minutes again.
Jeez.
This could almost have been 2 episodes. I enjoy talking about tools, though.
Yeah.
Anything else come along lately that you really like? I know you went shopping, so that can't be the only thing you bought.
No, I'm trying to think of what else.
I bought a couple tools.
Did you?
I'm going to use them for the first time today.
Ooh. Excited?
I'm excited, but I'm also apprehensive because I feel like it's going to create a little bit more work for me, and they're different kind of tools.
Right.
So some discussions came out from my most recent video shoot with the Build Show and with the photographer, videographers, and like the people that help produce the content.
Yeah.
And I'm going to try some new content creation. And so I bought a couple. They're not the GoPros. They're DJI. I have the DJI mics.
Yep.
And they're really the mics. Everything I've ever seen from that company is like, it's like they looked at everybody else's stuff and were like, we can make that better. And then they did. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. And
so I bought a couple of their cameras, and I'm going to try something. We'll see. I don't want to get too excited about it. I'm apprehensive. I feel like it's going to cost me more work. But we'll see. We'll see. It could be cool content.
Well.
So, yeah, I'm excited.
We'll stand by.
A standby. Yeah. A standby. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really have.
Have you looked at one of those stair climbing dollies lately?
I have. So here's something. Vevor, Vevor. Okay. It's like high quality tools, half the price. Mm-hmm. Okay. Take it with a grain of salt.
Do they have one?
What's that?
Go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah. I've bought a few things off of this website. It's kind of like, I don't want to call it, it's like Harbor Freight, but online.
Okay.
Right. So, I mean, the stuff is not the highest quality. However, I have bought a handful of things off of it that have been just like, this is great. This is exactly what I needed. That scissor jack that I got for lifting boilers came from that.
Okay.
Right. So that's same company. It's import tools. I'm not gonna say they're Chinese tools because I don't know that they're Chinese. They're import.
Yeah, they're imported.
Right.
Everything's imported.
Yep. I bought what was called a rescue tripod. So if anybody's ever done any confined space work, you've got a tripod that sits above a manhole and it's usually got a crank on it.
Yep.
I bought this with the intention that I was absolutely never going to hook a human to it. But I wanted something to be able to pick up sewer pumps or, lift a compressor up through a roof hatch or something like that, And so I was like, yep, we're going to get one of these. And it was like $330. Folding legs. They're aluminum legs, like 60 pounds, came with a winch, 1,200 pound rated. And I'm like, this is pretty reasonable. $300. The winch is garbage. Okay. So we've already taken the winch off. We used it once. The winch was complete trash, but we've got just a chain fall on the center eye now. And we've used it for picking, water heaters up through crawl space hatches. Right. So when you got a water heater that's full of sediment and it's in the crawl space, I despise. Let's just be real.
Isn't just a water heater in a crawl space heavy already? Because you have like no like leverage.
Right.
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
And you're trying to pick it through a hole. It's not the right. Somebody's going to get hurt. Right. So
my wife's over there complaining that it's heavy, and I'm telling her push harder.
I know. Yeah. Like get under it. Put your back into it.
Put your back into it, Heather.
And so we bought this, and last week we used it twice in the same week. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Well, once Rob broke it, can't have anything nice. We'll just blame that on Rob. And the winch is a piece of crap. Let's just be real.
Was it electric?
No, it's just a hand crank winch,
like a boat winch,
like a boat winch, but it had like 50 feet of cheap import cable on it, and I paid it all out and then cranked it all in and wound it nice, so it was tight. And I think that it's just crappy cable, so it's got some sponge to it.
Oh,
and it just turned itself into.
You ever use that nylon cable stuff?
Yeah,
nice.
Synthetics, nice. Yep.
Okay.
So anyway, if you're looking for something, if you're interested in like, hey, I need this piece of this, because if you go buy a let's say an aluminum OSHA approved tripod, you're going to spend about $2,000.
Okay.
Right. And so I was like, I don't know that I need to spend $2,000. We're not doing any confined space. Right.
Yeah.
But this one's $300, and I'm not going to be under it. And we're not going to lift anything over 300-400 pounds, 500 pounds maybe.
Under it, but who cares?
Yeah, well, he broke it. Jeez. So
that's awesome.
Anyway,
I can't recommend enough to anybody listening.
Yeah.
The stair climbing dolly.
Oh yeah.
I have the Power Mate. I don't care which one you buy. I bought it. That nobody gave it to me. I found a guy on Marketplace that was, I wouldn't say desperate to give it away, get rid of it, but he was trying to get his money back out of. He decided it was not for him and what he wanted to use it for.
Right.
He did like floor sanding. He was going to use this thing to carry up and down one of their bigger machines that goes like,
oh yeah,
they get a basement job at a church, and he's like, the machine weighs like 400 pounds. Like it's just too much to be, carrying up and down steps.
Yeah.
Anyway, didn't work for him for whatever reason. This thing was brand new. I saved like $1,000 on it, but I'm going to tell you straight up, that thing has saved my butt so many times. And just the fact that I can keep working without the assistance of someone else.
Yeah.
Has been huge too. Just moving boilers in and out of houses. Moving a 400-pound cast iron boiler up a stairway is never fun.
Right.
I can't do it alone unless I have this thing. And now I just I'm pushing 2 buttons and
right. Here we are.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It was so worth the money. I was so happy to buy that. It's like one of my favorite things that I've ever bought, to be honest with you.
Yep. No, we've hemmed and hawed back and forth, and like I say, we've got access to one, and so we end up just grabbing that regularly.
Yeah,
but
having it in the shop though, like I used it the other day for take a 75-gallon power vent out of a basement.
Sure.
And no way am I hate 75-gallon water heaters because they're so giant, like physically large, and that because it's larger is way more material. That's so heavy. They're so heavy. And this one I couldn't get fully drained.
Right.
So probably had like 10 gallons of water. So there's another, 85 pounds of freaking water in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's actually, do the math, 87, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's a cool tool.
Well.
I ain't going for no T-handle screwdriver, Andy. You can't make me.
All right. Well, get yourself some Wiha bits. They're pretty nice.
I'm going to check them out. I'm going to use my discount code, though.
Use discount code.
I can save with my discount code.
I think there was,
What is the discount code?
Is it Mechanical 10?
That's a good question. I know I can look it up. I don't remember.
You can. Where can people find your discount codes?
Well, they can listen. It is MH15. Mechanical Hub 15. MH15. So you save 15%. There's a link in my Instagram. When you go on
Your link tree.
Yeah, it's in there. Just scroll down. There's always like videos and stuff, and there's a link to our podcast in there. So if you're listening to this podcast and you want to find out where to find this podcast, you can click that link. But no, there's a code there. And in fact, I think if you click the link from my link tree, that it'll like auto populate the code if you were to like put something in your cart.
Oh, right.
I think. But it is MH15.
Yep.
And people say, I mean, I know people save a lot of money on it because I've had people message me.
Yeah.
And, they'll go and they'll end up spending $250 or something like that. I say 15%. Like, that's what, 60
something, yeah.
$65 or something, like that's not nothing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't like, it's just free. There you go.
Yep.
All right, dude.
That's what it is.
There's a long, I thought, now we're at almost an hour. Oh my God. This is crazy.
That's what we get when we don't have anything to talk about.
There you go. Just talk about back to the tubing cutter. Yes, I think it's worth buying if you work with copper, 1.25 and up. I think it's worth buying.
Yeah.
I have no idea how long it'll last. Honestly, it feels like it's a nicer tool than the original.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
And then if you don't already know, anybody listening, fluid film that's in that video, right?
Yeah.
You brought it up too. That stuff smells terrible. It looks like snot. It works better than anything else I've ever used. Yep. I mean, I'm not going to say WD-40 isn't a good product because that would be a stupid statement.
Right.
That would be me just trolling WD-40.
Right.
This stuff's better. It just is. For what it's intended to
different applications, but yeah. Yep, it works really well.
It does. It puts like this phlegm on everything though. So like you got to know that, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
But for that copper cutter, I say spray the heck out of that thing, and it cuts straight and clean and nicer for months when you do that.
Yep.
All right, dude.
Here's one last tip before we go.
Okay.
If you got your little imp cutter or your close quarters, your little rigid 15,
I call them imp cutters,
right?
but it's probably not a good name to call them. I don't know.
Yep. The small compact cutter, let's call it that. Any cutter.
Yeah, any cutter.
Take a little shot of WD-40 or a little shot of Triflow or
fluid film,
PB Blaster, fluid film.
I'm telling you, fluid film. Everything. That's what I use.
A shot on the rollers, a shot on the wheel, and you'll be like, this thing's brand new.
Well, they cut so much better when they're lubed up. You could have the same dull wheel for years and not really even notice it because they actually work when they're lubricated.
Yep. Feel free to send me tip money. You can pay for these comments and tips.
I feel like we shouldn't have to tell people that tip, but apparently it's like one of the first things that I say to people, and they're like, "Oh, I tried that; it worked well." And I'm like, "Dude, you've been in this industry for 20 years. How do you not know that?"
Yep. You know what's funny is the first time you did that, right?
Yeah.
You probably were still working out of a tool bucket.
Oh, I totally was.
That had probably 3/8 to 3/4 of an inch of wood chips and concrete dust and dirt and whatever bark chips that was in the bottom of your bucket.
You could have filled a hole in your driveway with what was in the bottom of my tool bucket.
Yep. And your mini cutter is laying down there in the bottom, and you took it out and you beat the dirt off of it, and then you were like, this stupid thing I need a new one of these.
How about the mini, like the smallest one, right?
Right, yeah.
Like the one that'll even cut like 1/8 copper.
Yeah.
The smallest. Yeah. And you had to get your channies to turn the wheel because it was
so stiff
up and stiff.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Anything, yes, you're right. Any product that is for lubricating, but these days I'm not even kidding you. Like I don't even look past it. I just fluid film, and it's not a commercial for them because like I don't even know who the company is. I don't know where. Like they've never given me anything. I share these things because it's stuff I like.
It's because we love you.
Yeah, it's because we love you, and that's why we want you to send us emails. And let us know what you're thinking about all these episodes and why we should not have 55-minute long episodes, Andy.
I know. Sorry.
Stop talking so much about fluid film. Will you, please?
All right.
All right, dude. I'll talk to you soon. Oh, cool. Hey, everybody.
Later. Oh, yeah.
Make trades great again at gmail.com. I got it, Andy.
Yep.
You send us an email, and you can
DM us.
DM us, whatever you call it. What are the kids calling it these days? DM? Slide into our DMs.
Yeah, slide right on over.
You always make it so awkward.
That's how I roll.
All right, man. I'll see you soon.
See ya.